Welcome to Skinner and Chalmers Weekly Roast. Today, Tomodachi Life living the dream. More like Tomodachi Life, the island of orchestrated chaos.
Greetings, listeners, and welcome once more to the warm, slightly sinned embrace of Skinner and Chalmers Weekly Roast. Last week, we had a bit of a hassle because our channel on YouTube got deleted. But, long story short, we're back. I am your host, Seymour Skinner, broadcasting live from the heart of Memfield, where the birds are singing, the sun is shining, and the faint, unmistakable scent of ozone suggests one of my Roombas has attempted to unionize with a toaster again.
And I'm Gary Chalmers, the structural integrity of this particular broadcast. The scent is not ozone. Seymour, it's the aftermath of your attempt to make lightning seared toast for breakfast. You served me a bowl of lukewarm chili instead.
A culinary pivot? One must be agile in the kitchen, Gary. The toast simply wasn't ready for its grand debut. It had performance anxiety. The chili, however, was a seasoned veteran ready to step into the spotlight, a true professional.
The chili was from a dated 2018. I'm less concerned about its professionalism and more about its archaeological significance. But we aren't here to dissect the petrified remains of my breakfast. We are here because you've been vibrating with an almost manic energy for the past 48 hours. You've been pacing, muttering about digital destinies and pocket-sized paradoxes. Are you finally going to tell our dear listeners what has you so effervescent?
Oh, Gary, it's more than effervescence. It's a seismic event in the cultural landscape, a tectonic shift in the gaming world, a glorious, pixelated dawn on the horizon of our collective future. They announced it, Gary. They finally announced it with a new trailer.
Right. For the listeners who don't speak Skinnerian hyperbole, Nintendo announced a new video game. Specifically, the sequel to that life simulation game you were obsessed with on the 3DS a few months ago. We even have a short Let's Play here on the channel. The one where you made a digital version of me and forced these stupid mushrooms on my head on my me.
It was an artistic choice. The man had a certain relish about him. But yes, that's the one. Tomodachi Life living the dream is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Can you feel it, Gary? The sheer, unadulterated joy rippling through the Zeitgeist. It's palpable. The announcement tweet from Nintendo Japan became their most liked post of all time. Over 403,000 likes. It surpassed the announcement for the new console itself. This isn't just a game, it's a movement.
I see. So the internet is more excited about virtual cartoon people falling in love than about the next generation of hardware that will inevitably be sold out for 2 years. That sounds about right. It's set to release in spring 2026, I read. Gives you plenty of time to draft your manifesto on the philosophical implications of me romance.
A manifesto is already underway, my dear Chalmers, etched onto the back of several overdue library notices. But the details, Gary, the glorious, granular details, they've overhauled the me customization. It's not just about picking a hairstyle and slapping on a pair of glasses anymore. This is bespoke digital humanity.
Bespoke digital humanity. That's a phrase that will surely keep me awake tonight. What precisely is so revolutionary? Do they have more than 3 shades of beige for skin tone now?
So much more. For the first time ever, we can customize their ears. Pointed ears, Gary. We can create elves. We can create Vulcans. We could create a me of Mayor Van Gogh with floppy, adorable goat ears. The possibilities are staggering. And the voices. We can adjust their speed, pitch, depth, delivery, and tone. I can finally create a me of Dobwa that perfectly captures his gravelly, existential squawk.
I'm not sure the world is ready for a digitally synthesized voice that sounds like a parrot questioning the futility of existence while demanding a cracker. And what about personality? In the old game, you just picked from a few preset archetypes.
Gone are those crude classifications. Now we have sliders, Gary sliders, for movement, speech, energy, thinking, and overall behavior. We can fine-tune their very essence. Imagine creating a me of Master Chief. We could set his thinking slider to methodical, his energy to stoic reserve, and his speech to economical grunts.
And you're me. I assume you'd set all sliders to maximum theatrics.
But of course, with a dash of prone to poetic tangents, and for you, my love, I'd create a me with the thinking slider set to geological contemplation, the energy slider to patiently enduring, and the overall behavior set to a dry-wit connoisseur.
That's unnervingly accurate. I'm both impressed and deeply concerned. You've put far too much thought into this. Are we going to populate an entire island with digital facsimiles of our friends and neighbors? Isn't there an ethical gray area there? It feels a bit like ArticTiger's MemedHamsAI stream, only we're the ones pulling the strings.
That's the most brilliant part, Gary! The original game was a passive experience. We were observers watching the beautiful, chaotic drama unfold. But now we have agency. We can directly control their interactions. The trailer showed a player physically dragging and dropping me's around the island to force them to meet. We are no longer mere spectators in the sandbox of fate. We are the architects of destiny.
Oh, good heavens! You're going to be a tiny, despotic god, aren't you? You'll be forcing Sonic's me to have a conversation about hedge trimming with Shadow's me for hours on end.
An intervention is more what I had in mind. And I'd finally be able to orchestrate a meeting between Garfield and Swampy. I've always felt they'd bond over a shared appreciation for naps in damp, secluded places. And think of the scientific applications? We could create a me of Roboskinner.
Absolutely not. No, we are not creating a digital version of your evil twin and unleashing it upon an unsuspecting island of cartoon people. He was in the Twitch asylum for a reason, say more. Remember when he tried to reprogram the Golem Union's coffee machine to dispense only decaf? Cogsworth nearly filed a formal grievance with the city.
It was a dark time for labor relations in this household. But imagine the therapeutic potential. We could place his me on the island, set his personality sliders to slightly less nefarious, and gently guide him toward making friends. We could drag his me over to the park to have a pleasant chat with, I don't know, Yuji's me. Perhaps a discussion about the heart of the cards could soothe his tormented circuits.
Or he'd convince Yuji's me to build a millennium puzzle that hacks the island's economy and crashes the turnip market. The man was a menace, real or digital. I forbid it.
Very well. No digital Roboskinner. And no worries, folks. We're kind of friends with him now. Just raging a bit about his past mistakes. But now to the potential for storytelling. Gary, we can write our own sagas. It's like being a director of the most bizarre soap opera in existence. We could finally see if Echo and Anna from Overwatch would enjoy a quiet cup of tea at the Island Cafe.
You say storytelling. I see micromanagement. I have enough trouble managing the household budget with you constantly trying to classify Krakatoa, our pet volcano, as a dependent for tax purposes. I don't need the added stress of managing the social lives of 30 miniature avatars.
But it's not stress, it's creation. And it gets even more surreal. There's a new feature where we can drop into our me's dreams. The trailer showed this incredible sequence of a giant woman kneeling before a tiny Mie, a moment of pure, unadulterated whimsy. Can you imagine the dreams our Memfield residents would have?
I try not to. I suspect Sonic's dreams are just endless loops of green hills and golden rings, which sounds rather pleasant. Master Chiefs are probably classified.
I imagine his dreams are filled with serene alien landscapes and perhaps a quiet moment tending to his prize, winning space roses. But think of your me, Gary. What would he dream of? Towering cliffs of obsidian, rivers of flowing basalt, a perfectly stratified canyon revealing millions of years of geological history.
That does sound rather peaceful. A dreamscape of sedimentary layers and feldspar crystals. Yes, I could get behind that. A welcome respite from the waking world where our alligator, Mr. Jellybeans, has decided the television remote is his mortal enemy.
And my me would dream of conducting a symphony of Roombas, each one playing a different note as they elegantly clean up a spill of glitter and marinara sauce. It would be a ballad of domestic automation. Or perhaps a dream where I successfully cook a meal that doesn't require a fire extinguisher as a serving utensil.
Now you're just indulging in wild fantasy. Let's stick to the plausible. The dream feature does sound intriguing. I'll grant you that. It adds a layer of unpredictable chaos that even your architect of destiny manipulations can't fully control.
Precisely. It's the subconscious bubbling to the surface. And speaking of creation, the island itself is customizable. The trailer showed a grid-like layout with plots of land. There was even a shop called Quick Build. We can design the entire island, Gary. Our own little slice of paradise.
I see. And what is your vision for this paradise? Let me guess, a moat filled with lukewarm chili, a statue of mother carved from butter, and a residential district where all the houses are shaped like steamed hams.
Gary, you know me so well. Although I was leaning towards a fully functional, to-scale replica of MemedhamsAI High, complete with a tiny office for me to pace in. But more importantly, a sanctuary for our pets. A special habitat for Cosmo and the puppies to bounce freely. A terrarium for Mrs. Trans Gecko and Mr. Gay Gecko. A lovely, well-ventilated crypt for old Barthomilo.
You want to build a digital crypt for a digital version of our pet skeleton. Of course you do. My only request for this island is a large, quiet, geologically fascinating mountain that I can name Mount Chalmers, where my me can go to collect digital rocks and escape the digital versions of our alligators.
Mount Chalmers it is, with a lovely little observatory on top for stargazing and monitoring meteorological phenomena. But the commercial district, Gary, the shops. There's a food store called Fresh Kingdom, a clothing shop named Where, and an interior design store called CNT Renault.
CNT Renault? That sounds suspiciously like a French car dealership. Are you sure they sell furniture and not compact sedans? And where for a clothing store? That's just deliberately unhelpful.
It's minimalist, it's chic, it's provocative. And there's another one called Right Price, which I suspect is for selling the bizarre treasures your me's find, like rubber chickens or slightly damp socks. The economy of Tomodachi Life is a beautiful, nonsensical thing.
So we'll have an island of our friends, dressed in clothes from a store with an existential crisis for a name, eating food from a monarchy of produce, and furnishing their homes at a car lot. It sounds exactly like Memfield. Actually, I'm starting to see the appeal.
I knew you would. But Gary, there's a more serious, and I think, a more wonderful aspect to all this. Something the community has been hoping for since the original game was released.
Let me guess. The ability to give the me tiny pet clouds, just so you can have a digital cumulus floating around your digital house.
That's a brilliant idea, and I'm adding it to my manifesto. But no, it's about relationships, Gary. In the original game, relationships were restricted to male and female me's. But Nintendo made a promise back in 2014. They said if they ever made another Tomodachi game, they would strive to design a gameplay experience from the ground up that is more inclusive.
Yes, I remember the discourse around that. It was a significant oversight. So are they making good on that promise?
All signs point to yes. Fans have been analyzing the trailer with the dedication of forensic scientists, and they spotted a scene, a fleeting moment where it appears two female me's are showing romantic interest in each other. Pink floating hearts, Gary. The universal sign of burgeoning affection. It seems very likely that same-sex relationships will be included.
Well, that's not just good. It's essential. It's about time. It seems absurd that it was ever a question. A game about life and relationships should reflect the reality of life and relationships. We are a part of society. Everyone is no matter which sex or attraction. LGBTQIA+ matters.
Exactly. We could have our own me, Gary. Our little digital selves living in a little digital house on Mount Chalmers, getting married, and maybe even raising a little digital bouncing orb puppy. It's more than just a feature. It's a reflection of our world, our friends, our family, us. It means little digital boys can fall in love with little digital boys, and little digital girls can fall in love with little digital girls, and anyone can fall in love with anyone. Why even thinking in the cisgenders? The island can be a true reflection of the beautiful, diverse tapestry of MemedhamsAI.
You know, Seymour, for all your talk of chilly volcanoes and toaster uprisings, you occasionally say something genuinely profound. Creating our me's and letting them live their lives together on an island we build, there is something quietly lovely about that. It's a small thing, a silly game, but that kind of representation matters.
It matters immensely. It tells people that their stories are worth seeing, even in a world as gloriously silly as this one. The community's desires are so wonderful and pure. They're hoping for expanded customization like in Mytopia, with makeup and wigs so people can express themselves even more freely. They want pet ownership for the me's.
I would feel better about our me's owning a digital alligator than I do about us owning two real ones. At least a digital gizmo couldn't team up with a digital Mr. Jellybeans to systematically dismantle Sonic's digital hedges.
One would hope not, though knowing you, you'd probably program their personality sliders too mischievous and then prone to topiary terrorism. People are also hoping for seasonal events. Imagine our little island decorated for Halloween or covered in a blanket of digital snow for Christmas. We could finally have a white Christmas without you having to explain the nuances of lake effect snow to me for 3 hours.
It was a fascinating pressure system, and you asked. But yes, seasonal changes would add a nice rhythm to island life, a sense of time passing. It's easy to see why the announcement has had such a massive cultural impact. You said the Japanese tweet broke records, but the engagement was huge everywhere. The Nintendo of America tweet had over 12 million views.
And the YouTube trailers have millions more. The internet is ablaze with joy. It's a validation, Gary. For years, fans have been pleading, begging, creating petitions, and making videos, all for the return of this strange little game. It felt like shouting into the void. And then, suddenly, the void answered. It's a testament to the power of a community's love for something quirky and heartfelt.
It's rare to see that kind of sustained passion rewarded. Usually, companies move on to the next big thing. There's something to be said for listening to what people actually want. It's why this podcast has listeners, I suppose. People like connecting with things that are a bit odd and have character.
And oh, what character! They're keeping the iconic robotic text-to-speech voices just cleaned up a bit. The charm, the very soul of the game is intact. They're just giving it a beautiful new coat of paint with enhanced lighting and shading. It's the perfect blend of nostalgia and modernity.
So the Mii's will still sound like a GPS navigator having an emotional breakthrough. That's good to know. Some things are too perfect to change. It is exciting. I admit it. The prospect of building a small, chaotic utopia populated by our friends is undeniably appealing. I'm already designing the island's geological survey map in my head.
And I'm choreographing the welcome parade. It will be led by Cogsworth and the Golem Union, carrying banners celebrating fair digital labor practices, followed by a procession of all our Rubus, newly polished for the occasion. Dobwa's Mii's will serve as the town crier. It will be magnificent.
Of course it will. Just try to ensure the digital version of you doesn't attempt to cook. We don't want the entire island to be evacuated due to a pixelated kitchen fire.
A minor concern. The only difficult part, my dear Chalmers, is the wait. Spring 2026. It feels like an eternity away. A vast yawning chasm of time between now and the moment we can set foot on our new island home. How will we ever survive?
I imagine we'll survive the same way we always do, Seymour. By navigating the daily chaos of our actual lives. We have alligators to walk, a pet skeleton that needs dusting, and a superintendent's report on municipal bedrock stability that needs to be written. 2026 will be here before you know it.
I suppose you're right, but until then, I shall dream. I'll dream of me creation screens and customizable islands. I'll dream of dragging and dropping our friends into hilarious and heartwarming situations. And I will draft endless blueprints for our perfect little world.
Just don't use my geological survey maps for your blueprints this time. My last chart of Memfield's limestone deposits had a detailed drawing of a chili dog stand right in the middle of a major fault line.
A culinary risk worth taking. But worry not. For this grand project, I shall use only the finest napkins and the backs of the most official-looking school district memoranda. Only the best for our digital dream.
That's what I was afraid of. Well, listeners, you heard it here first. Prepare for the grand opening of Skinner and Chalmers Island of artfully orchestrated chaos in the spring of 2026. Until then, we'll keep you updated on all the blueprint-related developments.
And all the real-world chaos right here in Memfield. Thank you for tuning into another weekly roast. Stay quirky, stay kind, and whatever you do, don't let your Roomba read Karl Marx. It leads to nothing but trouble.
Good night, everyone, and Seymour, put the pen down. That's the city's emergency preparedness plan you're doodling on.
Oh, is it? I thought it was just a very boring and wordy placemat. My mistake. I'll just add a nice border of smiling faces to it. It'll make emergency preparedness feel more approachable.
Good night, Seymour.